Hi everyone. Uh, Yesterday I was trying to teach you about some partings and how you take the holding lines and you cut the hair. Uh, I was thinking that before I start the session today, I need to very clearly mention about something. When you're cutting hair, you should really concentrate on what you're doing according to the design plan. When you have a design plan, you know exactly what to do next. Otherwise, you're unaware of what you're going to do for your client. Usually, when you design a haircut, it's not very easy to understand what type of design that the client needs. But if you clearly observe her hair, you may know exactly how and what techniques to be used. So according to my mannequin, I'm thinking of designing a cut today according to the flow of the mannequin hair, because I actually created a solid line earlier. So I'm just going to take, because I don't want to cut it short, I'm just going to show you exactly just a very easy solid line I created just to take the unruly edges, right? So then now after doing that, usually we do the like if it's a client, we ask the client to just tilt the hair. Yeah, usually when we are cutting, we actually comb the hair without a lot of tension and cut it freehand when you're cutting one length or creating a solid line. But because of the mannequin, I have to hold the hair like this with a good tension, and I pull the hair and I cut it this way earlier, right? So I'm not going to concentrate on the solid line, how to cut it, because I'm going to show it later on. But I want to teach you something before that, before I come to the solid line. The hair, when the hair is being angled according to the parting, it's very easy for us to turn the hair according to the head shape. That's what I taught you yesterday, if I'm not wrong, right? So when I design my cutting lines, I like to work with my client's head shape and then come to the facial features and the face structure and the cheekbones, because whatever the hair that is left behind is going to it's going to accentuate how the style is going to look like. So we are calling this line, the outer line of the haircut, it's called the perimeter line, or we are working with the exterior. Then this part, the inner part of the hair, we call it the interior. So the interior cutting lines, design lines, and the exterior cutting design lines have to balance together. Otherwise, we won't be able to get a precision cut, even cut. So to do this, usually a hairdresser has to learn to precise their foundational knowledge in cutting. So there are 4 foundation during the foundation when you structured haircuts during the foundation, you have to pick the 4 different forms in cutting. So the 4 different forms, there it's solid, then it's uniform layering, and then it comes to the graduation. So these forms creates a three-dimensional haircut, because as I said like I think last year, day before yesterday, about how you create the forms and the shapes in the cutting. When as maximum partings you create and the maximum angles you take in are according to the forms, the 4 forms that I mentioned. If it's a combination haircut, if it's a designer cut, you stick on to either 3 or 2 different forms of shapes to go with the exact design. When you're talking about the creativity, always make sure that you understand the basic fundamental knowledge how to cut and part a basic hair. Because in the block hair cuttings, you take a mannequin head and you need to practice at least 10 times to get it correct. Otherwise, you're unable to understand how that hair flows and what you're going to do next. So that's why it's important for you to understand the main fundamentals of hair cutting. When I teach you the fundamentals, you'll be able to figure out what levels of creativeness you can blend into one haircut. Because hair is all something that you create with a lot of likeness about how you deal with your creation. When I talk about creative haircuts, you will get very confused thinking that you need to have a lot of experience to be a creative designer in cutting. No, like I said earlier, as a beginner, you can always train your mind so that you will be able to understand how you blend it together and create a design on the cut. So let's start with the solid. So now I told you earlier, I went for a 1 length, and then gradually what I did was I took very thin partings, just very thinner partings like this. Actually, this is called the pyramid shape, right? Then according to the head shape, you're creating lines and you create the solid. So the thinner the lines you take, the more easier you can work with your solid. Then it creates a nice weight line. After that, now when your perimeter line, designer line is created, then you have to concentrate what type of line or parting you're going to do on the next section. If you're a beginner, just don't hesitate to part it and see how your hair flows exactly. Because when you're a beginner, you're very pretty, like, you know, what do you say that word? Okay, you're scared. You're scared, you're worried whether that cut will suit that particular client. Don't think of that. As long as you take the correct angles according to the head shape, it actually creates a better movement on the hair. When it comes to the front, then you create your facial according to the facial movements. So if it's a round face, you don't create a cut which goes inwards. You create a cut which goes outwards. So when it's a graduation, and if it's a very round face or a round head, it looks very weird because it looks more rounder. So to cut that face shape, you have to create more of the square layers onto the hair. So different layers are created according to the different head shapes and the facial shapes. So you have to know when you're choosing a correct form, you have to know exactly when you're going to add that form into the designer line. So here I'm going to show my face is more like a, it's a more of a pear shape than an oval, right? If you see it very clearly, it's more of a pear shape, or maybe a heart shape. I can see, no, pear. It's here pointed this way. So then I can go for a movement that is more inner, right, than outer. Because I need this mannequin for hairstyling, I will show you some, like yesterday, I will show you a different cutting technique that I can use just to create the movement more easily. So if I take this section, can you see? I'm going to go this way. Yes, I'm taking this section parallel to the parting. But see, look, I'm going to take this section completely over directed. So my cutting movements have to be over directed because it's going to go, it has to blend to this level, right? So when I take this section, always I have to consider the parting. The angle is to this way. Then I have to hold my angle parallel to the parting. Right? And then I go again. Parallel to the parting. When you create cutting lines parallel to the parting, it always blends according to the head shape, right? I will draw it and show you. The movements has to be completely angled to your body, but make sure that you position yourself. This is called stationing guideline. I'm not moving my guideline. See, I'm taking sections each time, but all the hair is positioned to one point. So this is called, I'm creating a stationary guideline. So all the hair I'm pulling towards me and cutting. Do you know why I create the the guideline like this? The stationary guideline? Because I don't want to cut this shorter. I will draw that and show you exactly how it happens. Right? If I take a guideline which is a moving, like a guideline which, with the guideline, if I move my angles by position, then I'm going to shorten the hair in the front than the back. This way I can keep my length, the length increase, and yet layer the hair in a nice in a better way so that the movements will match to the solid. So what I want to say in this video is, when you're cutting hair, don't think of what you're going to cut. Before that, make sure that you thorough your angles and the movements and the positions and even the partings as well as the head shapes, and basically you will have a better and a clear idea what you're working through when you're really cutting a hair. So that's what it's important for you to practice on mannequin heads more than what you should even after you graduate. Please don't stop practicing on your mannequins, because that will help you to develop more cutting edges and create more lines and designer lines. People are used to the same designer lines. We have to work and learn to practice more designer lines so that each person has a different haircut. Because most of the people we see have the exact same, like, it's similar. All the designer lines are similar. So then what is creativity? Creativity is going to be something which is going to only be inside a box. People are just going to copy the creativity each day. If one creates something and then I teach it, or another person teach it to you, like train you all, and then you will just keep on doing it like robots. No, creative is something that you need to do it on your own and think, because when you learn the fundamentals correctly, it's so easy for you to create your own designer styles. See, I'm creating something different according to the way I like my clients' hair to be, right? See, the movements all stationary. So now when I hold my hair to this way, can you see that movement? Can you see here? See? So when I blow dry the hair, this is how it's going to be. The cutting edges are going to create more of, see, these kind of lines. Now what I want to say is, now I created just a very club. This is called the club cutting. I just cut it straight across. But if I take this section again, the entire section, because now I don't need to resection because I've already cut it, and now I know this is the angle I used for the entire hair up to here, I think, right? Yeah, this is my angle. That's where I started it, right? If I take this entire section and then, yeah, no, I think, no, sorry, I started here this way, right? Yeah, this is the exact angle. Yeah, right? So when I take this angle, this section, I have to place this section, and then this is called brick cutting. See, it's like a brick, because then it gives that softness. It adds softness. If you cut it straight, it gets a more rigid line. Again, I will do the same thing here. See how I soften that line? See how I'm doing? This way, and again this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. I will show that cutting pattern, the line there on the whiteboard, and show you exactly what I did here as well. This smoothens the cutting edges. Even at the beginning we can do, but it's easier to do it after. Then if you miss any lines even, you can recut it, and it will help you to balance the hair, because the precision has to be very, very clearly. No, this section I think we have all. Yeah. Yeah, I will show you what's the difference. See, now it's more softer. Can you see this? Can you hold the video a little bit further? Yeah. Can you see this softness? This is the movement that I needed on the hair, right? And see, I will tell you another thing. When you design these lines, you may see that there would be some kind of a, some disconnection from here to here, right? Can you see? This way. So now you can just blend it across with just a very freehand cutting technique. You don't have to do much, because just to blend this across, you can't go more shorter here, but I would like to just get this a little bit this way, just to get that blend, right? So now see, when you're pushing the hair, this looks more as if you have nicely sculpt the hair together. See, because you are not going to blow dry with all these just soft, like hard lines. With the dryer, the blow dryer, this is going to soften the hair more, and then this is what creates the movement. Can you see? Okay, I will create another movement here and show you. Okay, I'll create a different movement. Earlier I took the stationary guideline. I will take the stationary guideline this way. I took earlier the stationary guideline was to the front. Now I'm going to go behind, and I'm going to create the same stationary guideline towards this way. Let's see what happens. Okay. Maybe I will cut it a little bit. No, first I will take this section and cut it, because otherwise it's going to shorten the hair more. Yeah, I will take this section. If I cut it from behind, it will shorten more. Right? Okay. See, I'm taking this section, and now here I'll just start with immediately with the brick cutting, because then it's easy. You're going to save time. And then I'm going to take another section. So when I'm planning, actually, I don't plan like, when I'm cutting hair, I don't cut hair this way. I just take all the sections, but this is not the cut I'm going to do. I'm just showing the lines, the movements, so that it's going to be interesting for you all to learn about the cutting once we start the cutting program. Okay. So now this movement is going to go this way. Can you see? So what's the difference now? This is, it's always, the hair is softens more softer into the front, because there's a lot of weight given to the movement, but the length, this actually goes inner, because like last time I showed you, the hair is pulling towards one side, and the opposite direction when you push it again, you can see the movement this way, right? And if you push the hair towards this way, the movements are going to show more clearly to this way. But if a client needs a movement all behind, and that he or she, like she needs a nice designer line, and then you can pull all the hair towards this way and create a different cut style. So all these are what you need to learn in hair cutting. It's all about how you create and how you design, because each time you think, okay, no, I'm going to balance this side and this side. No, it doesn't have to be always balanced. Even symmetric, and the hairs actually, without going easy on the cut, and then you place the hair, and then you can get the disconnections, but yet the movements are going to be nicer. Can you see? I didn't do a symmetric haircut, but still, see the movements. Can you see? But the length here, you can soften this, because I can't cut it more here. You can just go for a more harder line here, a perimeter line, but I just want to show this part to you. You don't have to create a new parting. See, always you can push the hair according to the head shape any way you like. That's what I learned about precision cutting, because when you have a precision cut, you don't have to exactly have a same style line. You can change your hair into different styles. Your movements can be changed, because as long as it has a balance, because when you cut in according to the angles, you have a 100% balance in your cut, and then you just keep on moving the hair, and it's so easy for the client, because the client is not going to have the same old haircut what you have done. Then you can ask your client to just play with your hair and just go whatever the way they like the hair to be. See, I will show you another movement. So this is what the precision cuts gives the client. There's a lot of, ways you can wear the cut. It's like you are changing your clothing patterns, like your styles. If you have a shirt, you wear something underneath, or even the collar, you put a different color, kind of. Yeah, because you can always change it. You can personalize it for your client. That's what precision cuts it's all about. So next time, I will try to teach you more of the cutting plans. And now I'm going to just go for a little bit theory, because what we did here, I will just teach you. So we went on a solid line, a very heavy solid, created a solid, and then we took the partings to this way and cut parallel to the parting. And here we created a stationary guideline. We all created a stationary guideline in the front this way, and the earlier section after that, no, wait, I will draw it more clearly. Yeah, so we'll draw the face, then it's more clearly, because we took the front section. Okay, so this was my section. I took this parting and I pulled the hair to the front, right, and cut it this way, right. This is my yeah. So then this created the hair to go behind. Then the next parting was I created, behind. I did it from behind. So I took the parting stationary again to this way, and then that hair went to this side. When I'm talking about the movements, the easier way is to understand how the hair flow works. So 360 degrees, if it's a stationary guideline, right? Then you don't move, you just keep on constructing to the same angle, same movement that you're positioned in, right? If it's a mobile guideline, that means you're moving with your guide, you got to move around the client. The stationary guideline helps you to give the length increase on the hair without disturbing the length of the hair. That's why if you have a long hair, it's not exactly suitable, because when you create a layering on a very long hair, you can't actually use this technique, because it has to be on a medium hair, at least in the front, because then only the movements change from under over the nape or on the cheekbone. So to get the length to this side, if the movements are to this way, that means inner, you want to cut the face, and then that movement goes inner, then always go for a stationary guideline. If the movements are going to soften your looks, then go for a mobile guideline. But in this cut, I used 2 stationary guidelines. That is, in the front, this part of the hair, I took to the front. I stood on just in front of the mannequin, and then I pulled the hair parallel to the parting. And when I pushed the hair, this didn't come this way, it came up all behind. Because with the parting, I took only the diagonal parting to the back section, not to the front section. When you're taking, if I took the diagonal to the front section parting, then I can push the hair towards this way. If I go to the back diagonal parting, then I push the hair to the opposite way. So this is what I wanted to teach you today. So please try to practice this on your mannequin heads, and show me some video, or even send me a picture on the comment section, or to my WhatsApp number. This is my number, +614 905 41042. I'll repeat again, +614 905 41042. This is the Australian. If the Sri Lankan, one of my students, they are If they are dialing, you have to dial 614 as the code and then continue the number, right? Okay, so I hope that my videos are helping you, and I haven't seen any comments yet. It can be good or bad comments, because I feel that I need to have that feedback from you to continue the videos from hereafter, because otherwise I'm just going to do whatever I want, and I know exactly what to cater y'all if you try to communicate with me from hereafter. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you have a good day. Take care.